Hey guys, so I bought this Grizzly planer jointer off of Craigslist. Used it a few times, worked great. Thought was a good purchase. Then the other day I was trying to plane some really small pieces of wood. According to the manual, you can plane something as small as 12 inches. So I used that threshold exactly. And maybe you should probably add 2 or 3 inches to that. I'm not sure. But basically, when I was in planer mode, I would feed a piece like this through, and it would get stuck halfway through. So I think one of the rollers maybe was set at the wrong height. I'm not sure yet. Anyways, I kept on trying. I even put runners on it, which are 2 pieces of longer wood glued to the side of the planer, so that the roller wheel will still stay in contact with them and continue to plane the main piece. And that didn't work either, so it kept on getting jammed. I'm not sure still why that happened. But then as I was working it, I started smelling like a burnt rubber smell. And I'm like, oh crap. It still seemed to be going there, so I thought maybe at first that this cutter head was seized up, but that wasn't the case. And then I stopped it and opened it up, and I took a look at this thing's called the contact wheel, and check that out. It got gouged all the way off. So I had to order a new one of these. This piece of machinery right here is $75 alone. So just thinking about all the money I've saved on Craigslist is getting eaten up by buying repairs on this. So you can see here I put the new contact wheel on. However, when I spin this thing, oh, by the way, if you're ever curious about how these work, it says here, flip the switch up when in planing mode, and that actually engages the contact wheel with these two gears that actually drive the feed rollers. So these 2 gears, and you can see this contact wheel right now. It's kind of a little bit hard to see, but there's a gap in there. Is not touching these feeder wheels. So when you're using the jointer mode, it's only spinning this cutter head at the top and not the wheels, because you don't need the wheels in jointer mode, of course. So you can see that this switch right here is actually hooked to this long metal arm, and there's a spring that kind of gives some tension to it. So when I push it up, now that contact wheel is touching the motor head. So the motor head's driving the cutter head, and also now driving these contact wheels. So end of story, right? Fixed contact wheel, happy day. No. So you can see right there, this chain is not staying properly on that wheel, and I have no idea why. I've called them, they say that this, I thought first maybe this bearing was frozen up, so this is a tension bearing that tensions that chain to actually make it spin. It's only held here by this spring, so I don't know. I don't know anything about mechanics or design, but to me this seems like a weird design, but it helps me put the chain back on. Otherwise, with all that tension, it would have been really hard, so maybe that's what they came up with. It just seems unnecessarily complicated, and I thought maybe this bearing was frozen at first, and it was just bouncing up and off and down the chain, but when I really stopped and watched it, that's not what's going on. This bearing is spinning. It does bounce up and down, but the chain itself is just not locking in these teeth right. So there must be one chain link that must be malformed, and it's not coming in contact with the chain very well. See, there you go. And I believe that maybe is what happened with the contact wheel, that the chain popped off, the contact wheel maybe came up too close and gouged here. There was actually rubber on this cutter head thing that the contact wheel rides on. So I'm going to show you how I first replaced that contact wheel, and also I've bought a new ball bearing, a new arm here, a new tension spring, new chains, new sprockets. So I'm like $300 into this now. And I hope that fixing the chain, and I mean, I looked at all these teeth I inspected them all carefully. They all look like the right size. None looks bent or out of whack. Even the chain doesn't look too weird. The only thing I can say is it's full of debris and crap. So I bought some Bow Shield machine grease. I'm going to put this new chain on here. I'm going to put on replace basically everything. And if that doesn't work, then I'm completely confused. All right.